What's up guys, my name is Unknown Darkness and today we're talking about the best weapons in Elden Ring for every class. Now as you can see, my main level is 240 and I'm sitting around almost 100 hours of playtime on this game, so I've got a pretty good idea of what everything is good in here. I've respect a dozen or more times, testing out every single weapon, and I think I've got it figured out. After numerous respecs, I found the best weapons in every single class, and I've actually tried out a good majority of all these weapons here. And I can say, in my opinion, I've got the list of weapons that you guys will like. I will have timestamps in the comments down below if they're looking for a more specific setup, but without further ado, let's get into the video. For starters, we have something for you magic users. Now when it comes to stabs, we have two good options. At number 2, we have Lusat's Glintstone Staff. This staff will increase your damage with all schools of magic, but at a cost. Every spell you cast consumes more FP than normal. If you've got the mana bar to manage it, this staff may be your favorite. But that's going to bring me to my favorite staff, which is Azur's Glintstone Staff. Now this staff has S tier scaling and something else. When you use this staff, all your magic spells have a faster casting speed, allowing you to cast more spells in a shorter time. I think this ability is much more useful, especially when you consider you want to cast one more spell before a timely dodge. It's better to get the spell in than not at all. Alright, next up we have the best seals for Faith users. Now this may be a little bit disappointing, but almost all the seals have S tier scaling, so it's pretty much just preference on which one you want to use. I will note that the individual seals do have a little bit of a bonus depending on which class you want to use. Like I'm using the Godskin seal, so it does give me a bonus to Godskin incantations. But if you have a different weapon or a different incantation that you want to use, go ahead and use the seal that's appropriate for there. You really can't go wrong here. Before we get into the good high-tier weaponry, let's talk about bows and crossbows for a second. They're awful. I can see using them if you aren't going for magic at all and I want something at range, but with the poor scaling, tedious crafting, and buying arrows, I can't recommend them. But if you insist, I liked the black bow and the full moon crossbow respectively. Let's check these out for a second. Like, descaling at +9, no scaling at +9, just a little more magic damage on the crossbow. They're not good. Like, if you want to do a pure archery build, it is possible with the right talismans, but I'm honestly not feeling it. Yikes. And now let's check out the crossbow. Yeah, no thank you. Alright, now for the good stuff. Let's talk about the best options for our Faith users. At number 3, you've got an unusual choice. I like to use the Keen Nagakiba. With an incantation buff to this weapon, it kind of is great. This bleed plus fire weapon tears through enemies by stacking status effects. Let me show you that real quick. Alright, so the typical rotation is you start Golden Vow, boost your incantations, and throw a Blood Flame Blade on it. This lasts for a full minute, making it just very great. With the double slash Ash of War, it's just all around fantastic. At number 2, we've got Vike's War Spear. You can hold up the shield and stab enemies right through it, never have to worry about taking damage. Go ahead, hit me. You do take a little bit of madness for using it, but as long as you aren't spamming it, you're fine. And at our number 1 spot, we've got the Blasphemous Blade from Riker's Remembrance. This weapon just isn't fair. Its Ash of War ability does an insane amount of damage in a straight line in front of you, hitting multiple enemies caught in its path. You can't go wrong with this weapon. Did I mention this weapon actually heals you every time you kill an enemy? Alright, now that we've brought up shields, let's talk about them real quick. The best light shield for parrying is the Ice Crest shield. With decent physical damage prevention, this is my go-to for parry users. The best medium shield is, of course, the Brass Shield. It's kind of unfortunate that there is no number 2 at this time. Maybe with some changes in future patches will be a contender. But as of right now, this is the shield you want. With 100 physical damage negation, you can hold the shield up until your stamina runs out. Now, as for heavy shields, I don't really think it matters which one you pick. They all provide 100 damage negation except for like 2 of them. Just kind of pick whichever one just goes with your outfit. You know, we are playing Fashion Souls here at some point. Now on to the best intellect weapons. At number 3 we have the Dark Moon Greatsword. Now this doesn't actually look like something a mage would use at first glance, but the Ash of War may change your mind. Once powered up, it shoots out a powerful blue beam, turning this into something with range. At number 2, we have the once overpowered Sword of Night and Flame. Not gonna lie, this kind of feels like a Magic the Gathering card with a name like that. Even post-nerf, this weapon is still something to wield. Shooting both a mini Comet Azure with its intellect side, and a Modest Flame AoE spell on the Faith side, this sword gives you something for every encounter. Finally, we have the number 1 slot, which is the Moonbill Katana. With both strong applications in PvE and PvP, this weapon is something you'll want to find right away. If you play the Samurai starter class, you should all be familiar with the powerful unsheath ability, this time with magic involved. Using both a powerful downward strike on a single enemy or a side swipe for a small group, this katana will take you all the way to the end game and more. Next up, we have an exciting class, the Arcane builds. Pre-patch, these weapons didn't scale right. I even wasted a larval tier respecking and trying these out, being disappointed when I found out, but that's no longer the case. And at number 3, we have the Eleonora's Pole Blade. This fun pole blade will make you feel like Darth Maul. With a strong roll ability and a fast attack speed, this is the best weapon to take down non-boss mobs. At number 2, we have something similar to the War Spear that we saw earlier with the Faith build, and that is Mog's Sacred Spear. Same as before, you can pair this shield and take down enemies with no worry of retaliation, but its incredible Ash of War is what boosts it to our number 2 spot. Holding down the trigger releases a wave of blood loss to all surrounding enemies and even stuns them sometimes. If you got the magic for it, you can clear even the toughest enemies without needing to move. At number 1, and to no surprise with Elden Ring's veterans, we have the Rivers of Blood Katana. With the bloody double swipe ability and finally, if you're trying to use a straight strength or dex build, I have a recommendation for each. If you're pure dex builds, let's use the Hand of Malenia Katana. Man, a lot of katanas on this list. Could they be OP? Requiring 48 dexterity to wield, this is for people who are all in on dex and don't want to spec into 2 perks. The Ash of War is the same one that she uses in her boss fight. Let's check that out real quick. Just like in the boss fight, you go into the air and unleash a flurry of attacks. It's very good against shield users as they can't really stop it coming from down. It has a very low FP cost. Definitely something to check out. And for our strength users, I recommend the Game of Thrones weapon itself, the Grafted Great Blade. This weapon, on top of being awesome to look at, just deals a ton of damage. Just like our dex weapon, this does require a big commitment into strength. At 40 points, it's certainly not a weapon that people will be using for 2 classes right away. And there we have it, all the best weapons for every class in Elden Ring. Did we miss a weapon that you hoped made the list? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, a like is always appreciated. Until next time, Tarnished, thank you for watching.